And I'm not 100% today. I am unfortunately recovering from COVID. What a terrible, terrible thing this is. God bless everybody who's fighting this and those frontline people who are helping others. So Hasey, our senior digital strategist, is going to be assisting me as well. She's been just an absolute incredible force at the agency. She's worked with our key accounts, coming up with the latest and greatest strategy. So Hasey, I'll let you go from here.
Perfect. And I'm just wanting to make sure that everyone can see my screen okay?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Hi guys. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. As Emmanuel was saying, I am the senior marketing strategist for Smart Age. So I help, a lot with the strategy and coming up with new programs and seeing what's out there and then putting it together to offer you guys. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys are familiar with who we are, but I wanted to give a quick introduction and background about who we are and who we work with. We are a digital marketing agency for the jewelry industry specifically. We work with over 300 independent jewelers and brands as well. In 2016, we became a Google Premier Partner, and in 2019, a Facebook Preferred Partner. Awesome. So I just want to give a quick overview of what it means to be a Google Premier Partner, because it is very important, and I think that it will lead way into what we're presenting a lot about today. So in order to become a Google Premier Partner, you do have to be audited by Google, and you have to maintain a consistency score of 60%. On average, all of the Google Premier Partners maintain a score of 80%. Us being the only partner in the jewelry industry with this accreditation, we do have a 98%, which is great. What that means for you guys and everyone that we work with is that we are specialized in just delivering client revenue growth and just maintaining client retention and making sure that your ads are running okay. And just a few of the people that we work with, I'm sure that a lot of you guys that are on here today joining us, we've worked with in the past or you've heard of us. So thank you again for joining us. And I'm passing this back over to Emmanuel.
Thank you so much, Hasey. So 2020 was certainly a year that I think everyone is going to write down in the history books as a year that you wrote down and you want to just never see again. But you're probably asking a few things of 2021, such as, where do I even begin and what does this industry look like in 2021? Also, is what I'm doing now working? Is it going to be working for me in 2021? And how do I fit into this world, right? How does my business fit in? And then the last thing we're getting a lot of, a lot of questions we're fielding with so many of our unbelievable accounts is, what's the new normal? I probably answered that over 100 times in January alone in these past 20 days. What's the new normal? What should we be looking for? What should we be expecting? And how do we combat this new, environment that we're in? So I hope this presentation will shed some light. Again, it's not very long. Howard had us stick to 30 minutes. We're going to try to make it within 30 minutes. When I first started, when we were asked when COVID first hit, I was getting many requests to do webinars, and the one webinar, the slide that I kept going to was, I asked everyone. This was back in April, and every webinar since, whether I did it with the pleasure of doing it with Centurion or with AGS or with a number of other events that asked me to speak, I called it the ostrich effect. And the ostrich effect is really when businesses freak out, put their head in the sand, and they just go home and hope the thing blows over. And this is where I said was not. I asked everybody, don't freak out, don't put your head in the sand, take this head on. And so as we did, and the next slide over will show us how the approach that I instilled in all of our clients, or we tried at the bare minimum around March, April, was to be a disciplined advertiser. that I've seen these days before in 2008. I myself ran e-commerce selling diamond jewelry in 2008, where we were far less sophisticated with technology than we are today. And I made this, quirk where I would say, while in 2008 people were closing their businesses, we were popping champagne. And I think today we're kind of seeing the same thing. It was a big push again back in March and April. I was asking people and showing real numbers that whoever invests into a recession, into a catastrophe, believe it or not, ends up recovering faster and doing far better. And I think right now, I'm pretty sure we're doing a lot better. The jewelry industry as a whole is performing way better than we ever expected. I'm speaking to a handful of retailers. Geishy speaks to many retailers. Sales are up. Average ticket sales are up. Bridal sales are up. JCK Magazine came out with an article that says 44.6% holiday sales are up in jewelry alone. And this is reminiscent of what one client told me very recently as far as January. He said, Emmanuel, the one regret I have was I didn't spend and do more in marketing. I feel like I left a lot more opportunity. And this is an advertiser who really didn't stop and kept with it and really did all the right practices. And so that's where I really want people to foresee things a little bit differently and start thinking. Because today, I use this a lot, point of inflection. We truly are at an inflection point in this industry and in this environment. It's the decisions you make today are going to affect your business, your communities, your staff, and everything else that follows. Because truly, if we don't, as an industry, take this opportunity and make it our own, there's going to be a lot of pain. But I am seeing a lot of success. I have to say, as an industry as a whole, we're all seeing tremendous, tremendous success. So as I get over to my next slide, what I want to share with you is I have a lot of people asking me, what's going on? Why do you believe? So a big thing that we're really, and I tell this to a lot of people, you have 2 years ahead of you, whether you're a brand or whether you're a retailer. You have 2 years. 2 years. And why 2 years? Because truth is, unfortunately for some, there's pain, but for other, there's glory. If you're in the travel space, I feel, you're gonna have some tough times. You're in the restaurant, unfortunately, they're going through some tough times. And if you're in hospitality, you're going through some tough times. But if you're in jewelry, you're not. Because these were competing industries for the consumer dollar. And right now we're seeing a tremendous influx of business to jewelry. And we really have 2 years to go. We're gonna see some great times ahead of us for the next 2 years as the industry changes. But that doesn't mean take the profits and put it in your pocket. That means you take those profits and you reinvest in yourself. Smart Age as a business, we've now doubled in size. Not to brag, but we were able to be very fortunate and pick up some incredible talent, marketing talents from the hospitality industry, from the travel industry. And that's what I mean when I say reinvest in the business, those profits. Don't hoard them, because today the silent shopper is what you need to be looking at. Don't think that tomorrow you're going to open up your doors and people are going to flood, because people are making those purchase decisions far before they hit your doors. Now, we're seeing some incredible, incredible results across the board. This is not one or two accounts of ours. This is across the board. every account. This is a sample analytics snapshot of a client of ours, how their traffic, just without anything else, is just up astronomically. And the next slide will also go to show this, where in-store sales are actually up, but also online sales are up. And the top reasons are 65% of people shopping online right now simply want to avoid the crowds. They want the comfort of shopping from home. Free shipping is a huge deal for them. 24-hour availability, that's going to be a big plus. And of course, it's easy price comparison. This is where it's going to be a bit of a tough pill to swallow for a lot of retailers. Easy comparison of prices. I've had this question asked to me, God only knows how many times. Emmanuel, we want to start to see e-commerce sales. And the question I go back to them is, are your prices represented in store as they are online? And that's going to be a challenge that a lot of this industry is going to have to overcome. Are you willing to sell online the same prices that you sell in your store? Because online is certainly going to be more competitive. And the answer should be yes. You should normalize it across the board. Find out how and find a way to do it. You can do specials, you can do online only. You need to start thinking about online as a business. Now, it's obvious and the general consensus tells us that 2020 was certainly a profitable year for the jewelry industry. That's a fact. And something else has become even more significant, how digital is becoming more important than ever within this certain time frame and beyond. So what is 2021 going to look like? A lot of people are asking. And certain behaviors are certainly on the uptick. Curbside pickup, we're finding, and this is a study, that curbside pickup is a preferred delivery method. Now, we're seeing a lot of our retailers, especially in Canada. Canada has a law, a countrywide law, I believe it's a countrywide law, where businesses can only do curbside pickup. And they're seeing some incredible results from curbside pickup. Are you saying that on your website? Is your business model adjusted for curbside pickup? Buy online, pick up in store? We've been talking about buy online, pick up in store for years now. It's become more and more prevalent today, where I'm sure every one of you, even me, myself included, the other day, I had before I got COVID, that is, I had no desire to go into any stores. I just wanted to go online, find what I was looking for, buy it, and pick it up. I did that multiple stores, and the stores that didn't offer it, I kind of veered away from. And ironically enough, more so than ever, I did that over shopping at Amazon because it was more instantaneous. I felt like I was going to go down the road and I was going to get it. So you're going to have to adjust your business model to curbside pickup, buy online, pick up in store. And later in this presentation, I will show you some things that you really need to do to change the way you think of your entire supply chain. Now, 66% of online purchases choose convenience over anything else when making a decision. I think every one of you right now feel the same way. I have an associate that I work with, his grandmother buys glasses. She needs prescription glasses. And all the stores are completely closed. So Warby Parker is where she went. He was telling me the story on how she would never in a million years learn to go online and buy a pair of glasses. But she did because she was forced to. So today, from the elderly to the young, are learning and adjusting their consumerism and their habits into how they buy and how they communicate with a business. Now, of course, a website is becoming more important than ever. That's where it ends and that's where it begins. Ensuring your website is truly frictionless. Now, I'm not going to get into all the tidbits of what you need to do to improve your website, but we're going to give you a few high-level pointers that you must have. You absolutely must have, because we're seeing some really great results. Number one, I've spoken a lot about the one-click checkout that Amazon did many, many years ago, 10 years ago, by introducing this godforsaken thing, because this thing has made me buy way more things than I ever needed. Me, my wife, and my entire family included. The one-click checkout, it attributed to an increase of $2.4 billion in just 1 year for Amazon. The swipe. Well, you say, Emmanuel, how do I get the one-click checkout? Well, you can. Today, Apple Pay. Apple Pay integrates with so many websites. I mean, I have more Lululemon clothing than I know what to do with, and I don't even work out very much. Because my wife, they put if you go to Lululemon, it's the easiest thing in the world. You go to Lululemon, you see a pair of pants or a sweater that you like, and you just double click, and boom, you made the purchase, and it's on the way to your house. It's a very easy integration from almost all websites that you will see an increase in your e-commerce sales. Now, the next thing is just an absolute must: text messaging. Text messaging services are now prevalent across the board. But what we're not seeing is the actual use of it. People are just delayed in responding. They're not really taking the full advantage that they should be of text marketing. Now, millennials across the board, I'm not a millennial, or maybe I am, God only knows now, but 72% of millennials say they text 10 or more times a day. I text maybe 50 times a day. And 98% of SMS messages are opened up. Text marketing is so critical. And especially if you have text on your website, please, I urge everyone to respond, because the longer you wait to respond, there's a stat that anything that past 10 minutes, essentially, you've not only upset your customer, but if they were interested in buying from you, it's now pretty much a cold lead at best. So ensuring that you're always on top of it is critical. Now, learning from the back end of your website is critical. There's a lot of learnings some of the best websites have. What the best search terms? What are customers doing on your website? What terms are they searching for? What are they looking at? Where are they going? What links are they clicking on? Can I improve it? Why are they going there? These are some things you really need to start looking at on the back end of your website. These are truly actionable insights. And when we have a client, we really look at these things with them and say, do you carry this product? No? Well, maybe you should. Or this is a brand that people are searching for. Do you have it? Maybe you do. Maybe you should get it. So these are actionable insights. And if you go to the next slide, we'll talk about how 94% today, the first impression users have of your business, of your brand, is as high as 94. The first impression users have of your brand is as high as 94% related to your website. Now, they will visit your website, and that's where they're going to get their first impression. Today, having a beautiful store is really meaningless. I think we're all starting to see that. I mean, it's important, not saying it's meaningless by any means. It's very important, it's very critical. But your website is just as important, if not a little bit more, especially as we saw we had to close up and work from home for many months. Now, I use this as a joke, but it's true. Many clients of ours in the past really took their website as just, yeah, it's something that it's there and we kind of need it. So just put up a few pictures and, yeah, I carry this brand. Just throw up the brand and, it was just a big box of scrap. And at best, maybe they take a look at it once in a while. But today, I don't think so. truly, and this is coming from my own recommendation, I recommend this to our clients because I come from e-commerce. Again, I've sold millions of dollars myself on e-commerce. And there's only two. I used to have a chart that shows multiple things of websites, but I realized, you know what? I'm not going to waste anyone's time. There's only two options if you want to go e-commerce. You're either going to go Magento, which is a web-based e-commerce engine, or Shopify. These are the only two. Now, anything else, I truly don't recommend, and I think you're running a risk of sacrificing and jeopardizing your business's future. Again, this is my personal recommendation, but I don't want to waste your time or anyone else's time. If you had to choose, it would only be these two. And if you're not on them, you should really consider your business. So your website is truly critical for the new world of interactive retail. It's going to be the make it or break it moment for you. Now, here are some checklists that I want to quickly go over. I use this checklist with a lot of our clients. Again, this is just small snippets. Today, again, this comes from me being a true e-commerce owner, sold diamond jewelry online. I know what it means when you don't have a piece in stock, you sold it online and your vendor ships it to you and it's the wrong item. And now you have a customer who has a wedding the next day and you have to explain to them that I went through those headaches. I was there. I knew what it takes. And this is what I mean when I say you truly need a dedicated customer service team if you want to start selling online. And that does not mean, oh, we'll just grab Tom or Susie or Jeff or whoever else. You really need a dedicated customer service person for your website. They have to know how to speak to the customers when they call from an online lead or sale. You have to take customer service for your online website very seriously. Digital merchandising. This is critical. I used to spend 50% of my time just merchandising the website. Which items are important? When someone clicks diamond huggy earrings, which earrings should I show first? Are my prices correct? Which categories should I be promoting? Diamond studs, diamond hoops? And I would create promotional areas, Valentine's Day gift guides, Mother's Day gift guides, sale items. Today, I look at a lot of websites and I click engagement rings and you just see an array of rings that if you had to ask the business owner, they probably never sold the last 10 years they were in business. Why would you show that as your first item? You have to have a dedicated marketing and an e-commerce strategy. An e-commerce strategy, not a branding strategy, not a clicks strategy, a real e-commerce strategy. How do I make sales? How is the marketing I'm doing driving revenue, sales through my website? It's a completely different marketing strategy than anything else. Restructure your supply chain. And what do I mean by that? Today, brands and vendors more than ever are willing to work with retailers. They're ready with inventory sitting in their safes, waiting to ship you. Show those products on your website. You don't need to stock them. There's so much jewelry sitting in jewelry stores. Don't show it just because you want to sell it. A lot of vendors and brands today and designers have some really new cutting edge stuff. Show those first and ask your vendor, if I sold this online, could you ship this to me? Could you drop ship it to me? These are the supply chains that I think need to really be used right now. Again, a lot of designers and brands are very willing to work with retailers. Just the retailers have to reach out and work with them. Take your website analytics very seriously and conversions. Just because you have a website doesn't mean you're selling. How are you going to make a sale? Do you have a one-click checkout? Do you have a search that works properly? Do your navigational structure, is it user-friendly, and treat your website as a standalone business unit. I work with a lot of retailers right now that are so sophisticated. I'm so proud of them. What they do is they've truly made a P&L, a profit and loss statement, just for their website. They gave it a budget, they put a dedicated staff for it, and they treat it as an independent business. These retailers are slowly starting to break out of their local towns. In the past, I would never recommend it. I would say own your backyard. And it's true, you should own your backyard. But today, those retailers have not only just owned their backyard, but today they want to expand. And they are expanding with a vengeance. I hope everyone sitting there right now is that forceful. We've spent too much time on your bricks and not enough time on your clicks. Today, it's those clicks that will keep you in business or escort you out of it. Again, this could sound as troublesome as you want it to be, but I feel compelled that the reason why I started this agency is to help every one of our retail partners own and dominate their industry, their locality, so that they can be successful for their communities, for their families. Because the last thing I want to see are these big guys, the Blue Niles of the world, the Amazons of the world, coming and hurting our retailers. So as we go to the next slide, and now I will pass it over to Geishy.
Thank you, Emmanuel. So I'm going to be going over with you guys today a few digital innovations from the different channels that you're maybe already using in order to make sure that you guys have a plan that you can start implementing in 2021 and beyond. So the first one that I wanted to start with is YouTube. I wanted to start with YouTube because I know that it's something that not too many of our retailers are taking advantage of. And just because I know that, video content is on the rise right now, I want to share with you guys something that I know will make a difference based off of the numbers that we're seeing. I know that many of you are probably using YouTube daily. 79% of internet users say that they have a YouTube account. Moreover, what's important about this all is that YouTube is actually the second largest search engine after Google. So I'll let that sink in for a second. It's not any other search engine out there. It's actually YouTube, which is funny because it's used for videos, right? Today you have many people searching up how to product reviews. There's a lot of things that people go on YouTube to learn about. And what I'm trying to share with you guys is ways that you can actually get there. I'm pretty sure that you guys have seen the YouTube bumper ads. These are the 6-second ads that play right before your video. There's two different kinds of video ads. There's the 1-minute video ad, and then there's the 6-second video ad. We promote the 6-second video ad because it's an ad that, it's not very pesky. It's not something that people will be annoyed with you for showing up. I know that the 1-minute one may be a bit too long, and a lot of people worry about bothering or coming off as intrusive. The 6-second ones are very timely and they're just perfect for that. So what we're recommending for our jewelers is to start looking into ways that you can take whatever video content you have in store, clip it into a 6-second one, and actually just start putting it out there. So the cool thing about these ads is that they work very much like PPC. If you are familiar with PPC, you would know that one of the main benefits is the targeting behind it. So you're able to target someone who's in your exact market, who's searching up for retailers like you and is just ready to buy. That's one of the features. And of course, with these video ads, they do lead back to your website. So you're actually driving traffic back to your website. And again, they are very short and impressionable. So you're not bothering anyone and you're not making it too long of a video to where your brand has a bad image. The reason why I'm calling these boomerang ads is because there's actually a way for you to combine them with retargeting, which I'm sure that a lot of you are familiar with. For those who are not, I'm sure that you've been in a situation where you visited a website and then you log off and you see that same product following you over and over again. We have a lot of clients who actually call them stalker ads, which is very funny. So having a combination of retargeting and YouTube boomerang ads, where after someone leaves your website, they see you on YouTube again, is a great way to just shorten up that life cycle of someone actually finally making a purchase. So the next thing I want to talk about is the big elephant in the room. When everything happened with COVID, everyone flocked to social media, which in return led all of the business owners to start asking, where am I? What can I be doing better? What am I not taking advantage of? And today I want to share something with you guys that it's pretty new. It is, something that was released in the end of 2020. So with it being very new, it's something that, of course, not a lot of retailers are maybe making the most use of yet, and that is the Instagram shop. So the old behavior in Instagram and in any social media platform would be, you would have a lot of these influencers or just anyone really who would post something, and a lot of people would maybe like it, right, after they saw it on that person. The problem is that because Instagram was not adapted to just helping retailers, close the buying circle, it would actually get stuck in this section here where you would have a lot of people maybe commenting, hey, what brand are you wearing? Where'd you get it from? And just overall product information. The reason why this model didn't work is because it was never a direct path to a sale. So you would have these comments, which were great, right? But it's not a guarantee that someone is actually going and buying and making that final purchase. So that's something that Instagram did a great job of just figuring out, this year, especially they have started releasing a lot of new features to help retailers. The new trend is, once you see it, you love it. Now you're actually able to shop it. So with the Instagram shop, the focus is to actually tap into people's existing behavior and to turn your business into a shoppable storefront. So the same way that maybe you have your website, the same way that maybe you have your store set up, you can also now set up your Instagram to where it's, a third representation of what you guys carry and what you guys offer. So what is Instagram shopping? We hear this term thrown around a lot. I just want to be very clear that Instagram shopping is the overall name for all of these sets of new features that Instagram has been releasing. So shops, checking out on Instagram, having collections, shopping tags, product launches, Instagram shop, live shopping, product detail page. There's so many of them. What I want to do today is focus on a few of these that you guys can take after this webinar and just start focusing on. So the number one innovation is the shop. The shop is what we refer to as this little button right here that you guys are probably familiar with. Once you click on that button, you're actually able to see the entire merchandise that that retailer has chosen to load onto their Instagram. What's great about this is that, it's just never been done before. Before, again, we used to see pictures, we used to like the product, and maybe we'd send a message to that person or ask them, hey, where can I find this? But now where, we went to be social, Instagram also turned it into a shopping front. So the number one thing that I want to make sure that you guys all do after this, or just ask yourself is, okay, what can I do to start setting up your Instagram shop? That's something that I won't get too much into it now, but of course, if you guys ever have any questions, you have our contact information, you can ask us how to get this set up, but very easy, just setting up your Facebook merchants account and making sure that your products are loaded onto there. And one of the reasons, quickly, just to tie it back to what Emmanuel was talking about, is one of the reasons why you want to make sure that you have a site like Magento or Shopify is because these two platforms specifically focus on being able to speak with Instagram. So if you have any of these two platforms, you're actually very much able to just load your products that you have onto your website automatically onto your shop. It's not something that you have to do one by one, like any other retailer who maybe doesn't have these two platforms. So they all speak together. And just again, it's very important to just make sure that you guys are working with the latest and the newest, which again is those two platforms. The next thing that you are able to take advantage of today is the shopping tag, which is something that I know Gabriel and Cole, they do a great job at. Anytime that you guys post anything that's lifestyle or product focused, you're actually able to add in one of these little tags here that has the product description and the pricing. And what happens once you click onto this is, depending on how you set up your shop, you can either check out directly on Instagram, or you can have it lead back to your website where they're able to check out from there. So the second thing that I want you guys to start thinking about is, how can I start tagging my products? Actually put a plan into place. If you guys have a marketing strategist, speak to them about how you can start doing this, because the more that you're able to, bring light to your products, the more that people become aware of these things. So just a very good feature to take advantage of now that it's something that is available.
I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. I know this is unscripted, but this right here is the reason why I have another closet full of Lululemon. This is, my wife showed it to me. I'm like, what are you doing, Steph? She literally follows Lululemon. She goes on their Instagram. She sees a pair of pants. She clicks, goes over to their website, double click Apple Pay, and done. So this is really this has costed me a whole lot of money. Sorry, Casey, go ahead.
Awesome. So the third thing that I want to talk to you guys about is collections. This is actually one of the newer features, and I encourage everyone who is here today to look into this, just because, again, if you are one of the brands that are able to adapt to this, you are one of the brands that are seen as, cutting edge and just someone who's kept up to date. This brand is Jewelry, and what they've done is that they've set up a collection with their choice of products. Right now, they chose to showcase 5 products, and underneath they have last chance to stack up and save 20%. So this is just a collection. You can make it anything you want. One idea that I would like to give to you guys today is maybe setting up a collection for Valentine's Day gifts or anything. If you have Mother's Day, maybe setting up a collection for Mother's Day for grad gifts. It's very customizable, maybe even products under 500. This is something that you can get very flexible and creative with. Very easy, just because once your products are up, all you have to do is just put them underneath a collection. You can also do this with your Instagram posts themselves. So if you have maybe a few lifestyle photos that you're posting for Valentine's, just grouping them quickly into a collection to make sure that, again, you're seen as one of the innovative retailers that I know that your clients are really expecting and looking forward to shopping with. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. So the newest innovation that I'm very excited to share with you guys is today you're able to actually tag your products on your ads. Why is that such a big deal? Because your ads are, pieces of advertisements that you're putting out there, and you're trying to reach your customers, right? So if you're trying to reach your customers and you're also able to show them the actual product at the same time, then that's just more likely that they'll actually purchase and make that conversion to shopping whatever it is that you're showing them. This is something that is being rolled out today. I'm sure that you maybe have seen it. Not too many retailers have this feature available to them yet. Again, it is being rolled out, but once it happens, once you check in with your team and see if this is something that you guys are able to do, highly encourage, this in combination with what you're already doing, which is posting on social media. What you can do is promote your posts, which is something that we've spoken about in the past, right? There's a difference between organic posting and then just putting budget behind it so that you're making sure your ad is being seen a lot more. So boosting your posts in combination with just tagging your product like this, again, very good way to just close the buying gap. So we've done a lot of these in the past. And again, I speak to a lot of you guys on the daily. One of the things that I just want to really hit home with is this really does matter for many reasons. I showed you guys screenshots of lots of different brands that are already doing this. Jewelry was one of them. I don't want to see Jewelry doing this. I want to see our retailers doing this. And it's important that if you guys are selling to, customers that also are interested in bigger brands like Jewelry, it's very important that you are also catching up and closing that digital gap to make sure that you're also being seen that way. So the last thing that I want to leave you guys with is Google My Business. It's something that we've spoken about in the past again, but today it's becoming so important. A lot of people are, again, staying home. So what that means for you is, it's a good thing, because if people are staying home, then it means that they're focusing more on local businesses. So the reason why you want to make sure that your Google My Business is set up perfectly is because Google actually prioritizes those retailers who update their listing constantly. So if someone searches up, let's say, I don't know, jewelers near me or your name or anything like that, they'll actually prioritize the one who's going in and adding pictures and changing their hours when they have to. Anything as little as logging in once a week, believe it or not, makes a huge difference in the eyes of Google. But not only that, in the eyes of your consumers, right? What you want is for them to see a page that's very well set up. Reviews matter. That's something that we don't have to keep telling you guys. I hope that everyone here is taking advantage of Review Alert or whatever platform you may be using to get reviews. Another thing that I encourage a lot of retailers to do is, if you're posting on social media, daily, try to post on Google My Business maybe once per week. Valentine Jewelers is an example of a retailer that does a great job with this. They have over 48 pictures. What this does, again, is it signals to Google that you are actually prioritizing this, and Google prioritizes those retailers who provide fresh content. And to your clients, your customers who are seeing you, it shows that you guys are also just on it and up to date with everything. So I'm going to turn it back to Emmanuel now for the closing message.
Thank you so much, Geishy. That was great. And just quickly about the Google My Business. If Rolex, if you're a Rolex retailer out there, you probably know Rolex is really cutting edge. They're really pushing on digital more than anything that I've ever seen. I mean, really, they're doing such an incredible job of it. And they're also promoting their businesses, their retailers to update their Google My Business, because it's certainly an important piece of the business. And as Geishy said, ironically, more importantly, which is interesting, that people being home are shopping locally. They really are. They're shopping locally. And you might think, oh, they're shopping on Amazon, which they are. They certainly are. But they are searching out and looking for independent businesses. We're starting to see it more and more in advertising and just across the board in sales. So make sure you keep that Google My Business very fresh and updated. Now, COVID by no means was a gift to anyone. It was straight from the devil. But it was unfortunately a situation that we had to deal with. But the silver lining of it is that the jewelry industry benefited as an industry more than a lot of other industries. So we should count our blessings. That's number one. People are not traveling and they're not using the other forms of entertainment as they used to, events, but that doesn't mean they're not buying. And they're buying diamond jewelry more than ever. I want people to reimagine their supply chain and remanage it. Look at your supply chain from the top down and how you interact. And take your digital more serious than ever before. And a saying from, I take from a biblical saying, the most important stone is the stone that they threw away. Or rather, the stone they threw away is the most important stone of all, which basically ties into digital marketing and website and all this other technology stuff. It was really just something put on the back burner. I saw so many businesses investing millions of dollars in building out CAD centers and casting facilities and machinery and benches and just incredible amount of investment. But then you turn and you look at them digitally and it's just a miss. Well, today, more than ever, that can't be so. And like Geishy said, We don't want to see Missouri succeeding. We don't want to see Blue Nile succeeding. I'm going to be bold and say it. I want to see every one of our retailers who holds this industry up succeeding. You retailers in your communities, you're investing money, you're donating your time, you're supporting your staff, you're employing your people, you're giving them a shoulder to cry on. You're the people I care about and we care about at Smart Age. So please take this seriously, work and continue to innovate and grow. And with that, I want to thank everyone and we wish you all the best and God bless you in these difficult times.
Don't anybody leave. Emmanuel, Geishy, and also I see Tyler is here. We're now going to open it up to direct questions and answers in the chat. So what we'd like you all to do is type your questions, and I think Geishy is able to see them. And one or the other, Emmanuel, Geishy, or Tyler will be able to jump in and answer them verbally to you. And of course, you'll have plenty of opportunity following to get in touch with Smart Age if you have further questions. So go right ahead, everybody.
So I saw a few questions here. By the way, if anyone wants to get in touch with me, it's ERAHEB at smartagesolutions.com, Raheb at smartagesolutions.com, or you can reach out to Tyler at smartagesolutions, or Geishy at smartagesolutions.com. We're all qualified to answer your questions. There was a lot of questions regarding Shopify, Magento, and the one-click checkout from PayPal. There's a lot of, yes, PayPal has its own checkout. Amazon has their own checkout. Google has their own checkout, and Apple Pay has their own checkout. They all work very similarly. And yes, if at all possible that you are able to, people will ask us, do we have to do all of them? You know what? If someone goes to your store, do you want to reject someone's money? Just, put it and make it look very classy and not intimidating. I personally choose Apple Pay among all. If you had to pick one, I would always go Apple Pay simply because of their dominance. And of course, Google Pay because of the Android. Those two are the most dominant platforms. And right now you want to appeal to those. So those are the market share. Now, I was asked about Magento and what specifically do you feel Shopify and Magento do better? The biggest difference is Shopify. And again, they're both very, very good. Shopify happens to be closed source. Magento happens to be open source. And there's a lot of, sometimes when we develop websites for customers, they have very intricate things that they want that with being an open source platform, you're able to develop with your own developers, where Shopify may not be as adept or as agile. Now, again, that doesn't mean that they're not good. It's just, those are the primary differences. Let's see if there's any more. Let's see here. Shopify charges, it's a managed website platform. So it's a built-in credit card processor. They do charge a fee for every sale, where Magento, you hook up whatever payment gateway or processor you want. Something about WooCommerce. Elliot mentioned something about WooCommerce. WooCommerce is the extension for WordPress. Yes, for sure, it's more challenging. And it was added to WordPress to make WordPress an e-commerce platform. If Etsy or Shopify, not sure if Etsy, they're very different. Etsy and Shopify are very different. Shopify, you can build your own website on. Etsy is more of a platform, a trade platform, kind of like an eBay or an Amazon, but more so tailored for like a niche or custom craft products. Wouldn't be, let me see here. Okay. What kind of job title to hire a dedicated Shopify staff? Abraham asks, what is the correct job title to hire a Shopify dedicated staff? Well, it would depend on what you would want that staff member to do. Do you want them uploading products? Do you want them managing the website? Do you want them adding extensions? Do you want them? There's many, many roles that you can hire for. Is it important to have verification? This one is for you, Hasey. Is it important to have the verification on Instagram to be seen as credible?
So I would say that it's not, it's something that you should definitely aim to get. I did see that someone mentioned that they got rejected by the verify badge, and I want to clarify with that. It's something that Facebook and Instagram, they're very, very picky about. We have a retailer who has over 10,000 followers, and they've tried about 2 times to get approved for this. This is not something that they've gotten approved for. They're very selective with who they pick. And that just goes back to the point, this has been years that we have been encouraging people to take your Instagram serious and to make sure that you're building up a platform there. It's something that before you look into verification, I would focus more on the quality of your profile. That's really the important thing here, because it goes back to just being able to get that verification badge. They won't verify you unless they see you as a business that's worth verifying, which again, it sucks, but it's Instagram and Facebook for you.
Thank you, Hasey. Now, Alfredo asks, Emmanuel, what do you feel are the areas they are neglecting? What, Alfredo, if you want to add what exactly you mean by that, who's neglecting? I'd be happy to answer that for you. How can I get in-depth training on my Magento website? The beauty of Magento and Shopify versus so many others, especially proprietary websites, which I highly, highly am against. And I certainly, advocate not being on those platforms, because there's a lot of content on YouTube, online, forums. There's tremendous amount of training material that you can look up that's wide open to the rest of the world. And also at Smart Age, we have dedicated training staff that make it their own to train you on how to use it. But again, Magento, Shopify, these are massive platforms that have communities, that have forums, YouTube videos, that you can do almost anything you want. And remember, since they're such large platforms, there's many companies that service them, that if you get hung up with one company, you can always tap another company, or hire freelancers or whatever else you may have. So that's what you can do with training. Is Shopify payments enough? Yeah, I mean, Shopify has done a fantastic job of really building a good ecosystem. They do have integration with Apple Pay, so it should be enough. And let me see here. That's one. Okay. WordPress is a lot less secure. Yes, WordPress. Well, WordPress, let's keep in mind, it was not a site built for e-commerce. WordPress was built strictly for bloggers, portfolio businesses, not for e-commerce. Shopify, Magento, more e-commerce. Emmanuel, what is your view on the current iOS update and the consequences possibly have for Facebook, Instagram advertising? Well, look, there's going to certainly be, I get it. Yes, there's a tremendous talk on privacy issues and privacy concerns. As of yet, we've not seen any implications that it's hurting any advertising. But there is, we're going to adjust. We can't predict what's going to happen in the future, but there is a lot of privacy concerns, especially coming from Apple, on how much data can be sourced and used. And look, I'm going to leave it in their hands, in Facebook, right? They're very large companies. They know how to target and as they come up with their strategies of targeting, agencies like us are just going to adapt. This has happened for many years. You know, back in 1999 when Google first came out and Yahoo started, I mean, I was there with them right from the very beginning. I'm dating myself now. But we've seen click fraud and we've seen so many security measures come and go, and we've learned to adapt as an industry. So, it's concerning, but we'll adapt. Shopify, and then Alfredo asked, Shopify and Magento, what are the areas you feel they're not focusing on? Well, right now, the biggest areas that I feel they're not necessarily focusing on is AI. They are doing some great work. They are, but they're not, I think, up to par with where they need to be. Artificial intelligence. Amazon is way ahead, and the shopping habits online could be done. Could be more efficient. Now, they are superior over everyone else in the game, but I feel if there's one area that I'm not seeing as much advancement is artificial intelligence. My only issue is integrated payments. Okay, how Apple Pay? So I can't answer European companies because we don't work with, we're primarily focused on the United States and Canada. We don't have clients outside. I wish I could help answer that question for you, but I'm not able to. So if anyone has any other questions, please write them out. I'm more than happy to answer them, but if you don't, Geishy, you could tell them on our Facebook page, or you can wrap this up.
Perfect. So guys, our email is info@smartagesolutions.com. If you have any other questions after this, you can always feel free to reach out to us there, or you can even DM us through our Instagram. We'll be sure to answer there as well.